I feel like I remember, I believe it was the mid-month reading for your sign where I mentioned about, doing some, don't let your creative talents, your creative skills lie dormant. Don't let them atrophy, mainly because you can make, you can create some things, bring it out into the public, and then you can make a lot of money from it. And for some of you, if you have been skirting with some creative endeavors, I feel like it's high time that you take it up and you create something, make something out of it, like make it a reality for yourself so that you can create some type of a home business for yourself or a side project or a secondary, stream of income for yourself. So moving into this month, the first energy that I'm picking up is I feel like work is going to be in abundance for you. You are going to be in high demand when it comes to creative endeavors. You might have multiple projects that people are bringing to your table and they're just like, you want to do this, you want to do that. So you have a few, I feel like a few creative projects that you could dabble in or you could, undertake. And then for others, I feel like a home-based business that is in the process of finalizing or in the process of being worked out so that you can work from home or you can even generate money doing something like a side gig within your home environment. So that looks really good, and I feel many of you are diversifying. So keep in mind, a lot of people are coming to you with ideas to do work, to get something off the ground, or to get involved with them as it relates to projects. But I'm also sensing not all of these choices are viable. Not all of these options are going to pan out exactly the way that you want. So the options are there, but be scrutinized. Whatever is coming in, don't take everything at face value. It is still Mercury in retrograde, or the projects that are being presented to you, that they pass the common sense test, but also that the business plan, the business model is feasible and replicable. Okay. So I'm sensing some of you have done some research or you're hearing through third parties. So-and-so is getting involved in this. Do you want to do the same? And so I feel like you're trying to follow in their footsteps, but you need to work out the guidelines for yourself. You need to make sure that, their business model, whatever their method is not copyrighted. So try to avoid, getting entangled in messy legal issues. Okay, if you are replicating something to the T, just make sure that the other person is okay with it, and make sure that things are not copyrighted. Okay. The second thing I'm feeling here is it feels to me as if many of you are in a position where you are picking and choosing. And I feel like this is a smaller minority. You're trying to pick and choose a career path or a job leading to a career path that will provide you with, long-term potential for growth. You're not just messing around with silly, odd jobs anymore. You're trying to create that nest egg for yourself. You're trying to build something up from the ground where you can reap the benefits of it, possibly in retirement, where you can try and see how it's going to pan out for you long-term professionally, and you're trying to solidify a career track for yourself so that you're not fumbling around doing odd jobs here and there anymore. You're trying to get yourself into a career path. And I feel like a lot of options are presented, are on the table. And I'm also sensing for many of you as well, working from home, it sounds really, it sounds very flexible. It sounds like, it sounds like it's something that's right up your alley, but you want to also think about, versus working for a bigger institution where there are pension benefits and job security and things like that. Just think about that, because I feel like long-term planning as it relates to your retirement, that's going to be very crucial coming in for this month. So many of you might have to forego some really exciting, interesting jobs as a result of, security for the future, which is fine. So it's going to play out for different people, different Piscean people watching this. But I feel like either way, options are on the table. Just, look through it and don't be starry-eyed coming into it, okay? Because expectations might not be met when the reality sinks in, okay? So just scrutinize it a little bit. I feel like for some of you who are cohabiting with another person, if you share space with another person, especially like a roommate, a dorm mate, just whoever it is that you're sharing space with, and there has been some previous financial arrangement, I feel like there's going to be talks and discussion as it relates to a financial arrangement from the past. You might tell them, hey, you're not, chipping in your fair share, or they might have a negotiation with you. They might come out short when it comes to their finances. So they're just, they're trying to talk to you about some type of financial arrangement. And I feel like for many of you, it's a family member that you're dealing with. And for others of you, just somebody that you're sharing living quarters with, living space with. It could also be like a landlord for some of you, where they're saying like, oh, we need, we need to raise the rent, or we need you to pay a higher fee, or something like that, some revision, some addendum to a previous arrangement as it relates to the housing situation. And then I'm also sensing for some of you as well, they're saying talks about custody, talks about money coming in or out of from like an institution. So for example, family is an institution. So it could be custody issues, it could be child custody, alimony as well. So there's discussions about that. Whatever was agreed upon previously, I feel like there's an amendment or there's like an addendum to it. And you're going to have to, make some type of follow-up, like arrangements based on that situation. The last message that I want to relay here is, they're saying here, this is as you can see, we have the Tower here. This is a month where we have to begin anew, okay? And basically what it brace the energy for change and to invite change and to be the catalyst of change in our own lives. So I do sense for many of you, you need to let go of some things from the past in order for you to have new things coming into the future for you. And as a result of that, this month is all about options, choices. But I also feel for many of you, it's about being very, very careful about figuring out what is good for you, what's no longer a healthy habit, a healthy behavior, so that you can leave them behind. Okay, so let me talk about that. Let me continue with that message because it came out here with the Devil card, and Aquarius got the same card. So this basically denotes how unhealthy habits, unhealthy behaviors from the past, once we come into the realization that they are not good for us, they hold us back from embracing the new, or they get us into a vicious cycle where we are feeling stuck, stagnant, and we can't really make positive changes in our lives. So realizing these things, being on the forefront of the change that you want to happen in your own life is very, very crucial for this month. I'm also sensing for many of you, please be careful about this. And, I don't like to relay bad news, but I feel like for a lot of Piscean people, you're the last sign of the zodiac. So as a result of it, I feel almost like a lot of the times you're very easily influenced by other people. And that's not like you're influenced in a way where you're easily taken in by other people, especially people who give you a sob story. You're highly empathic. You feel things on a very deep level. And so when someone is very flippant when it comes to, saying things like that might hurt you, you take it very personally. And I feel like it really cuts you to at a core level. It really hurts you. And so as a result of it, I feel as if you're very, it's almost like operating a little bit too much from the heart and not heeding your intuition, not being able to say what you mean and make the changes that you want in your life. So I see a lot of, spinning your wheels, moving in circles here. And first of all, I want to mention the Nine of Cups appearing together with the Temperance card. The Temperance card is, both of these things deal with drinking, overindulging, but in particular, as it relates to alcohol, okay? It could be drugs, it could be alcohol. I feel like for many of you, it's a combination. The devil is bad behavior, bad habits, okay? Things that are not good for us. We know that are not good for us. We're trying to wean away from it. But it's a matter of whether or not we are disciplined enough or we are being too self-indulgent and we're not able to break these cycles. So I feel like there is some major either, smoking, drinking, partying too much, spending too much, getting into some type of a negative pattern here that you are aware of. It has been something that you're trying to break away from for quite some time, and you might be lacking in the discipline in order to cleanly and fully break away from it. And I feel like the catalyst that will really allow you to break away from it for this month is because it might, in for whatever reason, affect your health situation, okay? Health status. So an example that I'm seeing for some of you might be drinking and you might be partying a lot, right? And you might have some car troubles. And this is what I mean by, speeding, driving under the influence, or even keeping company with people who are involved with all of these things. And then when you transport them, you run into legal issues. I want you to be very careful for this month. And if this at all sounds familiar, I just feel as if it might come back to haunt you, or it might be revealed in a way that is not going to be good for you financially, professionally, and so forth, okay? So I do feel some unhealthy habits here that we need to really break. And I'm also sensing for many of you, this is related heavily to, I also feel, hanging out with bad people that might be involved in these things heavily. And then I also feel for some of you, it's like in your life, you're constantly surrounded by it, so access to it is very easy. It's easy to come by, and it's easy to abuse. And you're not like the most disciplined sign of the zodiac. When you like something, you like it a lot. And I feel like, emotional, like, your emotional response to it is like that of, Cancerian people, where there's a lot of a tendency to kind of like escape via these channels, using these methods, using these things as a form of escapism. So whatever it is that you're trying to escape from by resorting to these behaviors, I feel like it's really crucial for you to get to the root of it, so that you're not running away from your problems, so that you're not spinning your wheels, so that you don't end up with like self-loathing, where you feel like, I can't really get where I need to be. I need to break these habits, but then there might be that overindulgence aspect where you feel like you're not able to break away from these habits, okay? So please be careful of this energy. Please be careful with it, because I don't want this to have been like an escape, it's like a coping mechanism. If, for example, I feel many of you, life is really starting to open up. This is a card about expansion. This is a card about, not being restricted, feeling really hopeful, feeling like opportunities are coming your way, feeling like life is dealing you whatever you have wanted. And I also feel a lot of new opportunities are coming into the picture for new experiences, new challenges as well, but also just a new way, like turning a new leaf, okay? And as a result of this, when things are going really well and you're feeling almost like invincible and you're feeling kind of like on top of the world, and then all of a sudden some major situation comes into the picture that is very unexpected, it might kind of knock you off kilter. And then you might resort to these behaviors from the past as a coping mechanism. And if this is something that you were dabbling in or were involved with, or if it was in your environment, drugs, alcohol, drinking excessively, overindulgence in any way, it could be as simple as having a glass of wine for dinner to like, drinking 3 bottles when you're on your own. It could be as simple as, binging on food. So anything that is considered, unhealthy behaviors, and especially overindulgent behavior, and you're dealing with it right now as a coping mechanism, I want you to know that you need to find a way to get yourself out of this, okay? So that's the first thing, and it's echoed across 4 cards, six cards. So I feel like 6 cards here. So just please be careful and just recognize this behavior and try to find ways to fix it, okay? I know it's easier said than done because you are in the midst of this and you're dealing with this, but I do want you to, the first thing to, recognizing something, recognizing that we need to change is to acknowledge that there is a problem, right? So I feel like this stage of recognizing it, calling it by its name, recognizing for it for what it is, and especially recognizing that it is preventing you from making positive strides in your life. It's preventing you from being in control of your own life with the Chariot here. And also recognizing that it is potentially affecting your health with the Strength card in the reverse, where it really saps your strength, it saps your energy, it saps your emotional well-being. And I also feel for many of you, they're saying like the past is catching up. So if you have been dealing with any type of unscrupulous behavior when it comes to from your own behavior or from other people's, conduct, I do feel almost like you feel very much alone with this. Either, if it's something that you're doing, you feel very much alone with this secret. You're holding it very tightly. And then for other people who are doing this to you and you feel like, you feel very alone with the struggle. You feel like I can't really talk to anybody about this because, no one really understands me. And so the major thing that we have to recognize here is you're not alone in all of this. Finding a group, finding a common community, finding people that are, I'm seeing like a support group, some type of a peer-to-peer intervention group, even family intervention, that's going to be very crucial. The Judgment card is greatly a community, people banding together in order to heed a greater calling, in order to overcome some type of a major cathartic experience that has happened in their lives. And I also feel for many of you, they're saying like the past is catching up. So if it deals with a person that has been doing, that has been kind of keeping you very oppressed, keeping you very restricted, doing things to you that are not good, I feel like you're going to find assistance here with a common community of people. It might remove that person from your life permanently. And if it's a relationship partner that might not have been good for you, it's going to bring information to light. It's going to bring this, this sense of like reckoning. And because it removes that element from your life, some of you are just not ready for it, okay? So I feel like there's a lot of, it's almost like a little bit of denial coming into the spread. You know what's not good for you. You know it's affecting your performance. You know it's affecting the trajectory of your life. But at the same time, you're not really ready yet to make any type of change. There might be some fear associated with it as well, making change, venturing into the unknown, soliciting people for help when you might have felt very isolated and very alone, and you feel like no one wants to help me. Who can I turn to for help? And so they're saying there is help on the horizon. There are people that are willing to come in and be able to help you navigate this energy. It's very scary looking. I feel like based on this spread, there's a lot of fear. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of redemption that can be had because I'm sensing like many of you, it's not like you're in the dark about this. You have enough insight and enough wisdom and enough self-awareness to really know what's not good for you. But I feel like it's just taking that first step. It can feel very daunting and very scary, okay? So Pisces, your world is opening up. You have to leave bad behaviors, bad people behind. And I also feel for many of you, the tower indicates, like the physical dwelling, the physical location. So there might have been some major shakeups when it comes to family, and I'm sensing like somebody that you thought you could rely on. I feel like they're turning around, doing a 180. They might be, a lot of the times with the eclipse, the solar eclipse energy, a lot of people, pass away. People that have been kind of struggling, they're either like struggling with their health. I feel like somebody might have recently passed away. And so the family unit is trying to keep everything together. You're trying to keep everything together. And I feel like emotionally, it just feels very, very difficult. And so my advice here is, we have a community of people here, family members, that you can reach out to. And we have you kind of like reverting to past behaviors as a coping mechanism, which is not good for you. So let me just see what we can do here, okay? Yeah, I feel like this is a major, possibly a male figure within the home, somebody that might have been bedridden, somebody that might have dealt with some health issues. I feel like he passed away. The emperor usually indicates, a guiding force from the other side, but I feel like with this tower and with this judgment card, it's somebody that might have passed away and created some type of a financial entanglement. Like I'm seeing financial issue within the family. So it could be, leaving an inheritance and everybody wants a piece of the pie, for example. Or it could be like this person, this authority figure is no longer in the picture. It could be work for some of you. This authority figure, this figurehead, this really strong male or female figurehead is no longer in the picture. And now everything is going awry because that figurehead is not there, and people will do whatever they want to do. So there's no repercussions, there's no ramifications, there's no immediate, sanctions. So this is what I'm seeing that you're dealing with. And if that is the case, really try to understand. We want to narrow down the scope here. A lot of the times, right? Because you're the last sign of the zodiac, you embody all the qualities of the previous signs. And that is quite a burden to bear, because I feel like you embody all the good traits of the other signs. You are very humanitarian as well. You feel very deeply for other people. You're very highly empathic. When someone's really suffering, I feel like for the other signs, they feel bad. But for you, it really hurts you on an emotional level. And if you're dealing with that much hurt and pain, you will resort to things to kind of help you numb and dull the pain. And so what I'm feeling is, if you're dealing with a loss of something, reach out, grief counseling, okay? Grief counseling does come through. If you're dealing with a lot of frustration in the work environment because, the figurehead is no longer there and everybody is just behaving in a way that is less than honorable, just understand that. Focus on your own responsibilities. Focus on what you have to do. Keep your plans and your ideas close to your chest, because I feel like there might be as well some intellectual property theft. This is, stealing information, behaving unscrupulously, and things like that. So if that's what you're dealing with, guard yourself from it. Holding information very closely to your chest. Don't share your ideas. Keep things close at bay. And, try to just focus on what you can change. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Okay? And also, if this is something that you're dealing with health-wise, or if it's a behavior that is affecting your health, seek some type of, seek a specialist, so that you can make sense of it. A lot of the times, we're very fearful when it comes to health issues. We'd rather be in denial about it. But I feel for this month, awareness is really crucial. And you might be running from that. You might be running from the truth. You might be Like, I feel like some of you are just not ready yet to get that dose of the truth, but I feel it's very crucial for you. So at least you know what to expect and you know how to move forward, okay? So there's a lot of self-imposed stagnation that I feel is happening here, Pisces. I'm going to be back for the mid-month reading, and hopefully, beginning of this year, I thought this energy is gone, but now it's making a comeback. So I want you to be a little bit careful, okay? I'm going to move on here to your love reading. This card looks really good, and I feel like this is basically the breaking point, like the way out. And a lot of it has to do with diagnoses. A lot of it has to do with community of people coming together, figuring out what to do. And a lot of it deals with overall intervention, people in your environment that really care for you, they want to reach out. And so the minute that you reach out, your support system is going to be there to help you weather the storm, okay? So do not lose hope. At least figure out what it is that you want to change and focus your energy on that, okay? So let me just see what is in store for you guys. Love, relationships, and romance. So Pisces, love, relationships, and romance. Honestly, the love relationship reading looks a lot better than the previous reading. So I was hoping that energy comes through relationships because it just seems like it's very challenging if it came through other areas of your life that are a little bit more internal. So let me just go through this reading. But either way, Pisces, I hope that you're able to, get the support that you need, okay? It's very important because I feel like it's important overall for all signs, all people, whenever things are going on, for us to talk about things. In the process of talking things, processing our feelings, and, figuring out like a game plan, things are not going to feel so daunting and overwhelming. A lot of the times you tend to get a little bit too overwhelmed by your emotions, and you might behave in a way or make decisions based on an emotional response rather than a practical, intellectual response. So you might not always make the best decisions. And so I feel like, having a sounding board, having a person that you can vent to, is going to allow you to see a different perspective. It's going to allow you to unpack a very complicated, a very emotionally charged situation so that you can see, essentially break down everything in its little part into all the little parts and pieces, and it's not going to feel so scary, okay? So let me just go into your relationship reading here. Let me talk about the foundation. First of all, we have here the Ace of Cups, and this card, the way that it fell out, I don't know if it fell out like in the upright position or in the reverse position, but I basically feel like this is your emotional state, okay? This is like having somebody that you really love, having somebody that you really care about, and it is a card that represents your suit of water. It's the burgeoning new relationships, or usually it's like caring very, very deeply for another person. It's linked up here with the Four of Cups, where you're reassessing. I really care about them, but on the other hand, with this Five of Swords, we have a lot of strife. We have a lot of power struggles. We have issues when it comes to communication, when it comes to having a conversation without disagreeing with with each other, having a conversation without feeling attacked, without feeling like we can see eye to eye. So I do feel you have somebody in your life that you really care about, that you really love, but you're reassessing the viability of the relationship, and you're reassessing whether or not, like the person that you are with really feels the same way about you. So there's a little bit of anxiety here, and there's a little bit of, skirting important issues, not having important conversations because you are not an aggressive sign. You are a little bit more on the conflict avoidant end. And so you might skirt a lot of issues. You might avoid asking a lot of important questions because you don't want to awaken the beast. You don't want to cause quarrels. You don't want to feed into this disagreement. And that's not always the right thing to do when it comes to relationships. So I just want you to, say whatever is on your mind. Talk to your relationship partner. If they're the right person, honestly, they wouldn't care. They would want to get to the bottom of situations. They would want to have a conversation with you. So don't feel like you need to shut down, or don't feel like you need to be conflict avoidant just to maintain harmony in the relationship, especially if you have important questions that you want to ask them or that you want to get to the bottom of, okay? In the past position, we have here the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse and the Death card. The Nine of Pentacles, this card usually indicates to me a single person. So the Nine of Pentacles in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's basically a single lady usually. But it also indicates somebody that, they have everything going on in their lives. They have the financial abundance. They might have property. Everything is going really well, but they're looking for love because that one pentacle that will bring about total completion is missing in their life. So with the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse and the Death card, I feel like many of you have been through the ringer when it comes to love. Many of you have invested a lot of your time with people that might not have, it's like a serial dater. It's like dating somebody for about, 4 or 5 months, and then the relationship falls apart. And you don't know why. You don't know like why these patterns keep happening. You don't know why you can't maintain these relationships. And you don't know why that the people that you keep meeting, it just didn't work out the way that you anticipate. So I feel like there has been a major cycle here that you are overcoming when it comes to relationship as well with the Death card, because moving into this month, you have some love that's coming into the picture, and you also have the Empress in the present situation, as well as the Magician. So let me talk about this, because I feel like one of these people is you. And as loving and nurturing as you are, honestly, Pisces, I feel like the Empress is your energy. So the Empress is somebody who's very caring, very fertile as well. Be careful about pregnancy for those who are not expecting, okay? Because the Magician is somebody that can make a child happen. So if this combination goes together, it can introduce a baby into the picture. So just be careful about that if that is not something that you are expecting. Okay? If for those who are expecting, I feel like it's really potent time for fertility. Okay? So whatever your situation is, protect yourself accordingly or not. Okay? So depending on what you want. So first of all, this is your energy here with the Empress. And this is you coming into a place where you are feeling really good in your own skin, feeling beautiful, feeling abundant, feeling prosperous. Possibly, you could be male or female, your biological clock is ticking. If you're male, you might think like, oh, I really like to have a family. If you're female, you're thinking, I really want to settle down, I want to have children. I don't know how fertile I am, and you're very fertile right now, but I feel this element about, this rush, this sense of like a biological clock ticking for both male and female. And the person that you are involved with, we have the Magician. This is a really, really smart person. This is like a great orator. Somebody that dresses really well, looks really fancy, life of the party, very extravagant, a little bit more on the extravagant side when it comes to his or her spending. Both of these are extravagant when it comes to spending. Both of these are a little bit self-indulgent. But I feel more so with the magician because look at him with his martini glass. And this can be male or female. But they're really, I feel like they spend money like there's no tomorrow. So I feel that there's a lot of attraction here. You might have attraction with somebody and you might really like this person and they really, really like you. But if you look at this combination, there's something a little bit off, right? Because the ideal partner for the Empress is the Emperor. And the ideal partner for the Magician is not really the Empress. It could be the High Priestess. It could be the High Priestess because both of them kind of like manipulate the element. Both of them contain a lot of, different wisdom. I almost want to say like higher rather than earthly wisdom. They contain like a little bit of magic, a little bit of that mystery about them. Whereas like the Empress and the Emperor, they're more of the earthly nature. So I feel for many of you, you are involved with somebody here. There's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of excitement, and I feel like they can be a good relationship partner because this together is a very good combination. And I also feel a very strong earth element here with this Empress. So it could be, like Taurus comes to mind, especially with the Venus sign because Venus does rule Taurus, but also Libra. But I'm feeling like a very strong earth vibe here. So this can be a really good combination. It's very dynamic. It's very exciting. But I feel like one person wants to settle down. The other person still wants to play the bachelor or the bachelorette. So we have a conflict of interest here. And I also feel as well, if that's somebody you're dealing with, there's a lot of love, but lack of consensus, lack of straightforward communication. And so you're going through a process where you are withdrawing inward and trying to assess this relationship. Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Knight of Wands and the Page of Coins. So this is a person here, a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And this is somebody that I feel like you might have children with, or you might have financial entanglements with, child custody even. So this is somebody that you are thinking about here. This person is a little bit like they're not very cautious. They kind of come and go, and they jump right into a situation, hoping for the best without a lot of planning, without a lot of like strategy. So I feel like this is somebody that is a little bit volatile, a little bit unpredictable, here today, gone tomorrow, and it's linked up as well with the Page of Coins. So it indicates that there might be, it seems like they might have the wandering eyes. I usually see this as somebody who chases after, pretty things, shiny objects. They might have attention problems. They might enjoy like a lot of different people, but they're not really connected to one person emotionally on any level for them to stick around for a long time. And then for others of you, you might be dealing with an earth sign, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and they're kind of like a world traveler, but they also can be a little bit flaky. They have too many suitors, they have too many people imposing, making making demands on their schedule, so they might not have the time to properly date you and properly have or cultivate a relationship with you. So we have these two people in the picture. Moving into the future position, we have here the Two of Wands and the Judgment card. The Two of Wands, I feel for many of you, especially if you are involved here with the Magician, this is kind of like coming to the realization that, yes, I do like that other person, but I feel a little bit emotionally unnurtured in the relationship. This is a card of a relationship where there's only one person in the picture. So it's almost like feeling a little bit neglected, feeling a little bit alone in the relationship, and feeling as if things are not going exactly the way that you want here with the Judgment card. This is new beginning, and I also feel for many of you as well. There is an element here about you moving away from the past, trying to date new people, and then getting engulfed into somebody who is very fancy, who is, just like, who really sweeps you off your feet. And you're not really sure what to do, and you're not really sure, like, whether or not to go with it because you don't want to get your heart broken. But I do feel if it's a new person, it can work out. Just make sure that there is that sense of compatibility to begin with. Because I feel like you like somebody, but you're not very compatible with them. And it might be like a big crush on somebody, but you're not very compatible with them. So just understand, if it's a big crush that you have on somebody, are you at the heart of it compatible with them? Will things work out? Because I feel like you're harboring some feelings for a person. Excuse me. You're harboring some feelings for a person, and you're not telling them about it, and you're just like, liking them and kind of even looking at all of their social media as well. Looking at their social media, wondering if they're dating, or even stalking them to see, like, who are they dating, who are they with, where are they, what city are they in. So I feel like you might be with somebody that's like here today, gone tomorrow, and you like them a lot, but you're not making your feelings shown. So my advice is, if you know for a fact that you're compatible and you want to let them know, do it. Because I feel like they like you too, and you're a very good match for them, but they might want different things out of life. But I feel like they're honest, they're going to tell you so. And then for others, I feel like it's not even unrequited love, because it's not known by the other person. I just feel like you're harboring a crush, a really big crush for somebody, but you're not letting them know. Okay, so just let it out. It'll be so much easier, and then that way you have your answers, okay? So I hope the reading is helpful for you guys. Let me just see here. And I'm sensing for some of you as well, it's like liking somebody and then finding out that they have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, like finding out finally that they are attached, and you're just kind of kicking yourself, like, I should have let them know sooner. So don't be on the tail end of that, okay? Fire sign people, especially if you are single, we have fire sign and earth sign here. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. The earth sign is a lot more compatible for you guys. I feel like it's just a lot more compatible. Okay, so go for the earth sign if that's what you're struggling with, or that's what you're dealing with. Okay, so Pisces, I'm going to end the reading here. I wish you all the best, and I'll be back for the mid-month reading. If you'd like to book an appointment with me, the information for my website is in the description box below, where you can view my availability and you can book an appointment. If you'd like to donate to the channel as well, it is greatly appreciated. Once again, that information is in my in the description box. I'm going to be back for the mid-month reading. I wish you all the very best, and take care of yourself, okay? Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.